Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Titan Base, her dark eyes fixed on the massive shipyards concealed beneath Saturn's largest moon. The rhythmic hum of quantum forges and matter assemblers echoed through the reinforced walls as humanity's greatest secret continued to grow. For 30 years, Earth had maintained the facade of a barely spacefaring civilization, all while building the most advanced fleet the galaxy had never seen. "Admiral," Lieutenant Commander James Rodriguez's voice broke through her contemplation. "We're detecting an anomalous energy signature at the edge of the Helios Federation space. It's massive." Chen turned, her weathered face illuminated by the holographic display that materialized between them. The reading showed a tear in spacetime larger than anything humanity had ever encountered. Analysis: "It matches no known Federation technology," Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "The energy output suggests a fleet of at least 300 capital ships preparing to emerge." And the Federation's response: "Nothing yet. Their early warning systems are primitive compared to ours. They won't detect it until it's too late." Chen's jaw tightened. The Helios Federation, a coalition of 17 spacefaring species that had deemed Earth too volatile to join their ranks. They'd restricted human expansion, limited their trade, all under the pretense of containing a potentially dangerous species. If they only knew what lay beneath Titan's icy surface. "Show me the Federation's nearest defensive fleet." A new hologram appeared, showing the positions of the Federation's ships. The closest battle group was 3 days away at their maximum speed, far too late to respond to whatever was about to emerge from that spatial rift. "Admiral," Rodriguez hesitated, "protocol dictates we maintain our cover. The Federation made their choice when they classified us as a restricted species." Chen watched as the first ships began emerging from the rift. They were unlike anything in known space. Massive vessels of dark matter composite, their hulls seeming to bend light around them. The ships moved with an organic fluidity that defied their size, spreading out in an attack formation that spoke of centuries of military evolution. How long until they reached the Federation colony on Helios Prime? At their current velocity, 6 hours. The Admiral's mind raced through scenarios. Helios Prime was home to over 12 million civilians from various Federation species. The colony had minimal defensive capabilities, relying on the Federation fleet for protection. A fleet that wouldn't arrive in time. "Send a message to Earth Command," Chen ordered, her voice steady. "Authorization, Chen, Alpha 70. Request permission to initiate Operation Lighthouse." Rodriguez's eyes widened. Operation Lighthouse was the contingency plan for revealing humanity's true capabilities. It would change everything. Their relationship with the Federation, their place in the galaxy, the very balance of power itself. "Message sent," Rodriguez confirmed. "But Admiral, even if we get approval, the nearest battle group is 7th Fleet at Europa. They'd need at least 2 hours to reach Helios Prime, even with the Einstein drives." Chen smiled, a gesture that held both pride and determination. Who said anything about Europa? She pressed a sequence on the holographic display, and the floor beneath them trembled slightly. "Titan Base holds 1st Fleet." The massive hangar doors began to open beneath Titan's surface, revealing row after row of ships that would redefine warfare in known space. The Hyperion-class battleships, each nearly 3 kilometers long, their quantum alloy hulls incorporating technology centuries beyond what the Federation believed possible. The Artemis-class carriers housing squadrons of AI-assisted strike craft. The Athena-class dreadnoughts with their reality-warping weapons systems. "Alert all commands," Chen ordered. "1st Fleet is deploying. Set Condition 1 throughout the fleet. Loading combat parameters and clearing all weapons systems for live fire." As klaxons began sounding throughout the base, Chen received the response from Earth Command. A single word that would change the course of galactic history. HFY. The facade was about to end. Humanity had spent 3 decades preparing for a moment like this, building in secret, advancing their technology far beyond what anyone suspected. They had been dismissed as primitives, feared as savages, but they had never stopped evolving, never stopped preparing. "Send a message to the Federation Council," Chen commanded as she strode toward the command center. "Keep it simple. Help is coming. Hold the line." The first ships of First Fleet rose from their hidden berths, their advanced stealth systems keeping them invisible to all but the most sophisticated sensors. One by one, they moved into formation. 50 ships of the line, each carrying enough firepower to level a continent. "All ships report ready, Admiral," Rodriguez announced. "Awaiting your order." Chen took her place in the command chair, her expression resolute. The moment of revelation had arrived. Humanity would no longer hide in the shadows, no longer accept the role of primitive outcasts. They would show the galaxy why Earth had been called a death world, why its people had survived countless catastrophes to reach the stars. "Plot jump coordinates to Helios Prime," she ordered. "All ships, prepare for combat jump. Today, we show the galaxy what humanity can do." The Einstein drive spooled up, creating microscopic wormholes that would carry the fleet faster than light itself. The ships of First Fleet, humanity's hidden sword, prepared to reveal themselves to a galaxy that had underestimated them for far too long. As the fleet prepared to jump, Chen couldn't help but wonder how the Federation would react. Would they see this intervention as salvation or as confirmation of their worst fears about humanity? In the end, it didn't matter. They had a duty to protect innocent lives, regardless of past politics. "All ships signal ready," Rodriguez reported. "Jump coordinates locked. Einstein drives at full power." Chen took a deep breath. This was the moment of truth, the culmination of decades of preparation and patience. Execute jump. In an instant, the most advanced fleet humanity had ever built vanished from Saturn's orbit, racing across light years to face an unknown enemy and reveal themselves to a galaxy that wasn't ready for what they had become. The silent sentinels were silent no more, and the galaxy was about to learn why Earth's children had survived their harsh cradle to reach the stars. The void between stars erupted with light as First Fleet emerged from their Einstein jumps, their advanced hulls seamlessly transitioning from FTL travel to combat readiness. The sight that greeted them was worse than their worst projections. The unknown fleet had already begun their assault on Helios Prime. Admiral Chen watched through the Hyperion's quantum-enhanced sensors as massive energy weapons tore through the colony's minimal defensive screens. The alien ships moved with predatory grace, their dark matter hulls absorbing any return fire from the colony's ground-based defenses. Multiple civilian ships attempting to evacuate, Rodriguez reported, his voice tight. "The enemy is targeting them systematically. No survivors so far." Chen's fingers tightened on her command chair. "Launch Valkyrie squadrons. Priority 1 is civilian evacuation. All capital ships, form up on my mark. Let's introduce ourselves." The hangars of First Fleet opened, disgorging swarms of Valkyrie strike craft. Each one was a marvel of human engineering, piloted by a hybrid team of human and AI, capable of maneuvers that would kill an organic pilot alone. They streaked toward the civilian ships, their advanced ECM systems already working to deflect enemy targeting. "Enemy vessels are altering course," the tactical officer announced. "They're moving to intercept our fighters." As expected, Chen nodded. "Now let's show them why you don't underestimate humanity. All ships, execute pattern Omega. Weapons free." First Fleet moved like a single organism, their formation shifting into an attack pattern that had never been seen in this galaxy. The Hyperion-class battleships formed the spear's tip, while Artemis carriers took up supporting positions, their point defense systems creating an interlocking field of protection. The enemy responded immediately, their larger ships breaking off from the colony to face this new threat. A transmission cut through all frequencies, its tone artificially modulated, but carrying an unmistakable note of surprise. "Unidentified fleet, this space belongs to the Void Collective. Your interference is unwelcome. Withdraw or be destroyed." Chen allowed herself a small smile. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force. You are attacking innocent civilians in violation of all galactic conventions. Stand down immediately. There was a pause. Then, Earth. The restricted death world. Impossible. Your species lacks the technology for this level of space combat. That's the funny thing about humans. Chen replied as she signaled her fleet to begin their attack run. We don't like being underestimated. The Hyperion's main gun spoke first, a lance of concentrated quantum energy that bypassed the enemy flagship's shields completely, carving a deep wound in its dark matter hull. The shot's precision demonstrated centuries of human weapons development, all carefully hidden until this moment. All ships, engage at will, Chen ordered. Show them what humanity can do. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. The Void Collective's ships were advanced, but they had never faced anything like First Fleet. Human Valkyrie fighters danced through their formation, their AI-enhanced pilots executing maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. The Artemis carriers launched waves of autonomous combat drones that overwhelmed enemy point defense systems. On Helios Prime's surface, Federation citizens watched in awe as their mysterious saviors systematically dismantled what had seemed an unstoppable invasion force. The Void Collective's apparent technological advantage meant nothing in the face of human innovation and determination. Admiral, Rodriguez called out, we're receiving a transmission from the Federation Council. Put them through, Chen ordered as another enemy capital ship exploded under concentrated fire from her battleships. The holographic form of High Counselor Zura materialized on the bridge, her crystalline features showing clear shock. This is impossible. How long have you possessed such capabilities? Long enough, Counselor, Chen replied without taking her eyes off the tactical display. We can discuss the details later. Right now, we have civilians to protect. The battle continued to rage, but its outcome was no longer in doubt. The Void Collective's ships began to retreat, their formation breaking under the relentless assault of First Fleet. Those that could activated their FTL drives, disappearing into the void from which they had emerged. As the last enemy ships fled, Chen turned her attention to the evacuation efforts. The Valkyrie squadrons had managed to save thousands of civilians, their advanced shields protecting the evacuation ships from enemy fire. But the colony had still suffered devastating losses. Begin search and rescue operations, Chen ordered. Deploy medical ships and emergency response teams, and send a message to Earth Command. We're going to need the rest of the fleet. This isn't over. Hours later, as human ships helped stabilize the situation on Helios Prime, Chen stood in a holographic conference with the Federation Council. The faces that stared back at her were a mix of gratitude, fear, and dawning realization. You've hidden your true capabilities from us, High Counselor Zara stated. It wasn't a question. You gave us no choice, Chen replied. When you restricted us, labeled us as too dangerous to join galactic society, we knew we had to prepare. The galaxy is more dangerous than you realized, and humanity will not stand idly by while innocent lives are threatened. The Void Collective, another counselor, spoke up. They're attacking other colonies as well. Our fleets are overwhelmed. Chen nodded. Then it's time for humanity to take its place in galactic affairs. Not as primitives to be contained, but as equals, as protectors. The council chambers fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had just demonstrated technology far beyond what anyone had believed possible. The balance of power had shifted irrevocably. We need your help, Zora finally admitted, her crystalline form dimming slightly in what might have been shame. Will humanity stand with us, despite our past treatment of your species? Chen's response was immediate and firm. We will. Not because we've forgotten the past, but because protecting innocent lives matters more than old grudges. The real enemy is out there, and they're about to learn why Earth is called a death world. As the conference ended, Chen looked out at the stars, knowing that this was just the beginning. The Void Collective would return, likely with even greater forces, But humanity was ready. They had spent decades preparing for a moment like this, and they would not fail. "Send word to all Earth fleets," she ordered. "Operation Lighthouse is now fully active. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can really do." Deep in the quantum-secured war room of Earth Command, Admiral Chen faced the combined leadership of humanity's hidden fleets. The holographic representations of 24 admirals and generals stood around a massive strategic display showing the latest intelligence on Void Collective movements. "They're not just raiders or conquerors," Chen explained, manipulating the display to show attack patterns across Federation space. "Every strike has been precise, targeted. They're looking for something." Admiral Marcus Torres of 3rd Fleet leaned forward, his hologram flickering slightly. "The analysis of their technology suggests capabilities beyond even our most advanced systems, yet they retreated at Helios Prime when faced with significant resistance." "Why?" "Because they didn't expect us," Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez interjected, now promoted to Chen's strategic advisor. "Our intelligence division has decoded some of their communications. They call themselves the Void Collective, but they're actually a fusion of organic and synthetic life forms. They've been watching this galaxy for centuries, categorizing species, assessing threats." The display shifted to show detailed scans of the enemy vessels. Their dark matter hulls weren't just armor. They were alive, growing, adapting. The ships themselves were massive organic synthetic hybrid organisms, each one a product of millions of years of evolution and engineering. "And they categorized humans as primitive," Chen concluded. "A mistake they won't make twice. Our latest reports indicate they're massing for a major offensive, not just against the Federation this time, but against Earth directly." The room erupted in discussion, but a single voice cut through the chaos. Fleet Admiral Helena Drake, commander of Earth's combined defense forces, stepped forward. Her weathered face showed the strain of decades spent building humanity's secret forces. "Then we strike first," Drake declared. "We've spent 30 years preparing for a threat like this. It's time to show them exactly what humanity is capable of." The plan came together quickly. While First Fleet had revealed humanity's capabilities, they had only scratched the surface. Deep beneath Europa's ice, Second Fleet had been refitting with prototype weapons specifically designed to counter organic synthetic hybrid technology. Third Fleet, hidden in the Kuiper Belt, carried experimental reality warping devices that could trap enemy ships in localized time dilation fields. "The Void Collective believes they've seen the extent of our technology," Chen said, outlining the battle plan. "Let's show them how wrong they are." The combined human fleets moved out within hours, their Einstein drives tearing holes in space-time as they jumped toward the Collective's gathering point. Intelligence provided by the Federation's deep space sensors had located their staging area, a massive artificial structure hidden in the dark space between galactic arms. As the human fleets dropped out of FTL, they faced a sight that would have terrified lesser species. Thousands of Void Collective vessels surrounded a structure that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built, a massive organic synthetic construct that pulsed with dark energy. "By all the stars," Rodriguez whispered, staring at the sensor readings. "That structure, it's not just a staging area, it's an incubator. They're growing more ships." "Then we hit it now," Chen ordered. "All fleets, execute Operation Deadlock." The battle that followed would rewrite military doctrine across the galaxy. Human ships moved in perfect coordination, their AI-enhanced systems predicting and countering the Collective's organic adaptability. Second Fleet's prototype weapons proved devastatingly effective, their quantum disruption beams causing cascade failures in the enemy's hybrid systems. The Void Collective responded with weapons that bent the laws of physics, but humanity had prepared for the impossible. Third Fleet's reality anchors stabilized space-time around their formations, turning the enemy's greatest weapons against them. In the midst of the chaos, Chen noticed something odd about the Collective's tactics. "They're not protecting the structure," she realized. "They're protecting something inside it." Rodriguez deep scanned that facility. What are they hiding? The scan results painted a chilling picture. At the heart of the structure lay something ancient, a technological core that predated known civilization. The Void Collective wasn't just building ships, they were trying to activate something. All ships redirect fire on these coordinates. Chen commanded, highlighting the structure's core. Whatever they're planning ends now. Human warships concentrated their fire, their combined weapons tearing through layers of living metal and energy shields. The collective ships fought desperately to intercept, but they couldn't match the precision and coordination of the human fleet. As the final defensive layer fell, the core of the structure became visible, a massive crystalline construct that pulsed with impossible energy. The Void Collective's command channels erupted with urgent communications. "You don't understand what you're doing." A new voice cut through their frequencies. "That device is our salvation. The galaxy is dying, and only we can save it." Chen hesitated for a fraction of a second, but the decision was already made. If the galaxy needs saving, we'll find another way. One that doesn't involve massacring innocent civilians. All ships, final barrage. The combined firepower of humanity's fleets struck the ancient device, shattering it into 1,000,000 fragments. The reaction was immediate and catastrophic. The entire structure began to collapse, taking dozens of collective ships with it. The remaining enemy vessels retreated in disarray, their carefully laid plans literally crumbling before them. But Chen knew this wasn't the end. The Void Collective had revealed their true purpose, and the galaxy's fate now hung in the balance. As the human fleets regrouped, Federation ships began arriving at the battle site. Their sensors struggled to process the scale of destruction, the evidence of technological capabilities they had never imagined possible. "Send word to Earth Command," Chen ordered. "The Void Collective isn't just fighting for conquest, they're fighting for survival. And now we need to figure out what they know about this galaxy that we don't." The stars seemed to dim slightly as the gravity of the situation sank in. Humanity had won their first major victory against the Collective, but in doing so, they had stumbled upon a mystery that threatened the entire galaxy. The real war was just beginning, and Earth's children would need every bit of their ingenuity and determination to face what came next. The Federation Council chamber was silent as Admiral Chen's hologram finished presenting the battle data. The destruction of the Void Collective's mysterious device had sent shockwaves through galactic civilization. Representatives from 17 species sat in stunned silence, trying to process the implications of what they had just learned. High Counselors are as crystalline form pulsed with troubled light. "You're certain about these readings?" The device was that old. "Our analysis confirms it," Chen replied. "The technology predates any known civilization in our galaxy by at least 2,000,000 years. And the Void Collective was willing to sacrifice thousands of ships to protect it." The chamber erupted in overlapping voices, fear and accusation mixing in a cacophony of alien languages. The Federation's most respected scientists had already begun analyzing the debris from the battle, and their preliminary findings were troubling. The device hadn't just been ancient, it had been counting down. "We've detected similar energy signatures," announced Krex, the Federation's chief scientist, his tentacles writhing with agitation. "Scattered throughout the galaxy, usually in regions of unusual stellar activity. We always assumed they were natural phenomena." Chen's hologram turned to face the insectoid scientist. "And now we believe they're more devices, similar to the one you destroyed. All of them appear to be activating, their energy signatures growing stronger." The implications hung heavy in the chamber. The Void Collective hadn't just been launching random attacks. They had been racing to acquire these devices before they activated. But why? "There's more." Rodriguez's voice came through, his own hologram materializing beside Chen's. "We've managed to decrypt more of the Collective's communications. They refer to something they call the Great Filter, an astronomical event that occurs cyclically in galaxies across the universe." The chamber fell silent again as Rodriguez displayed the decoded data. According to the Void Collective, Intelligent life was rare not because it failed to evolve, but because it rarely survived what came next. Every few million years, something swept through the galaxies, wiping out advanced civilizations and forcing evolution to begin again. The devices, Zara whispered, her crystalline form dimming. They're either weapons against this threat, or they're part of it, Chen finished. And the Void Collective thinks they can use them somehow. The revelation hit the Council like a physical blow. Their civilization, everything they had built, might be facing a threat they couldn't even comprehend. And they had spent decades dismissing humanity, the very species that might now hold the key to survival. "We need your help," Zora admitted, her pride finally crumbling in the face of extinction. "Not just your ships and technology, but your perspective. Humans, you think differently than us. You see solutions where we see only problems." Chen nodded, but her expression remained stern. "And will the Federation accept us as equals this time? No more restrictions, no more containment policies." The council chamber erupted again, but this time the tone was different. Species that had once feared humanity's potential now saw it as their greatest hope. One by one, the councilors voted to fully integrate Earth into the Federation, with all the rights and responsibilities that entailed. But even as the political barriers fell, the real threat loomed larger. Long-range sensors detected massive Void Collective fleets mobilizing, moving with purpose toward specific coordinates throughout the galaxy. They were hunting the remaining devices, and they wouldn't let their earlier defeat stop them. "We don't have much time," Chen announced, pulling up a tactical display. "The Collective is moving faster now, more desperately. Whatever these devices are counting down to, it's approaching rapidly." The Federation's leading scientists worked frantically with human researchers, sharing centuries of accumulated knowledge. Patterns began to emerge. Subtle changes in stellar activity, mysterious gravitational anomalies, all pointing to something massive building just beyond their perception. Deep in the Void Collective's territory, captured by stealth human probes, massive organic synthetic ships were undergoing transformation. They were adapting, evolving in response to their defeat, becoming something even more dangerous. "They're not just trying to activate the devices anymore," Rodriguez reported, analyzing the latest intelligence. "They're trying to interface with them, to control whatever's coming. If they succeed, then we stop them," Chen declared. "Not just for humanity, not just for the Federation, but for every species that will ever evolve in this galaxy. We find these devices, we figure out what they really are, and we end this threat once and for all." The council chamber buzzed with renewed purpose. Ships from all Federation species began mobilizing, joining with human fleets in unprecedented cooperation. Scientists shared technologies, soldiers trained together, and ancient rivalries were set aside in the face of extinction. But time was running out. The device's energy signatures were growing stronger, their countdown approaching some unknown threshold. The Void Collective's desperation suggested they knew exactly what was coming, and their actions spoke of absolute terror. As the combined fleets prepared for what might be their final battle, Chen stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching the stars. Humanity had evolved on a death world, surviving countless near extinctions to reach the stars. Now they faced a threat that had apparently ended civilizations far greater than their own. But humans had never accepted impossible odds. They had never backed down from a fight, never stopped looking for solutions where others saw only doom. And now, with the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance, they would show why Earth's children had survived when so many others had failed. "All fleets, prepare for combat jump," Chen ordered. "We've got a galaxy to save." The combined fleet of humanity and the Federation emerged from FTL at the coordinates of the largest energy signature. What they found defied comprehension. Hundreds of Void Collective ships surrounded a massive device, far larger than the one they had destroyed. But it wasn't just a device anymore. It had transformed into something else, something alive. "Analysis," Chen demanded, her voice steady despite the impossible sight before them. Rodriguez's hands flew over his console. "The device is evolving. It's interfacing with the collective's biosynthetic technology. Energy readings are off any scale we have. Before them, tendrils of dark energy writhed from the ancient machine, connecting to void collective ships, transforming them into something new. The massive construct pulsed with a light that seemed to drink in the stars themselves. Incoming transmission, the communications officer announced. From the collective, a figure appeared on the main view screen, a being that was neither fully organic nor synthetic, its form shifting and flowing like liquid metal. "You cannot stop what comes," it said, its voice resonating on frequencies that made the ship's hull vibrate. "The great filter approaches. We have seen it consume galaxies. Only by becoming like it can we survive." Chen stood from her command chair. By sacrificing everyone else. By becoming the very thing that destroys civilizations. No, humanity has faced extinction before. We've stared into the abyss countless times. We're still here because we never stopped fighting, never stopped looking for another way. "There is no other way," the being insisted. "The cycle cannot be broken. It can only be survived." But even as it spoke, human scientists and their Federation counterparts were making a breakthrough. Dr. Sarah Wong's voice cut through the command channel. "Admiral, we've decoded the device's base programming. It's not just a weapon or a tool. It's a test." Chen's eyes narrowed. "Explain." "These devices were left by whoever created the Great Filter. They activate when civilizations reach a certain technological threshold. How we respond determines whether we're worthy to survive." The revelation hit Chen like a physical blow. The Void Collective had failed the test. In their desperate attempt to survive, they had chosen to become the very thing that threatened all life. They had chosen domination over cooperation, fear over hope. "All ships, battle formation Delta," Chen commanded. "But hold your fire. I have an idea." The human fleet moved into position, their Federation allies following suit. But instead of targeting the collected ships, they began a precisely coordinated series of energy pulses, matching the frequency of the ancient device. "What are you doing?" the collective leader demanded, panic creeping into its otherworldly voice. "Something you never tried," Chen replied. "We're not fighting the device. We're communicating with it." The combined scientific knowledge of humanity and the Federation had revealed something the collective had missed in their fear. The devices weren't just measuring technological advancement. They were measuring the wisdom to use it properly. Human quantum computers worked in concert with Federation AI systems, transmitting a message written in the language of physics itself. It carried the history of every species present, their struggles, their achievements, their choices to work together despite their differences. The device's energy patterns began to shift. The dark tendrils released the collected ships, retracting back into the ancient machine. Its surface rippled with new colors, patterns of light that spoke of recognition and approval. "No," the collective leader raged. "You'll doom us all. The filter cannot be stopped." "You're wrong," Chen stated firmly. "The filter isn't meant to destroy civilizations. It's meant to unite them, to see if they're ready to join something greater." The device began to transform again, but this time the change was different. Instead of the corrupted evolution the collective had triggered, it unfolded into a form of pure energy. A new voice filled every ship, every mind. Ancient beyond comprehension, but carrying unmistakable warmth. "You have passed the test," it said. "Where others chose dominion, you chose cooperation. Where they chose fear, you chose hope. The galaxy is yours to protect." The Void Collective ships began to retreat, their leader's final transmission filled with confusion and despair. They had spent millennia preparing for the wrong battle, fighting against a test they could have passed through cooperation. As the ancient consciousness faded, it left behind something incredible knowledge. The combined fleet found themselves with access to technology beyond their imagining. But more importantly, they had access to wisdom. The Great Filter hadn't been meant to end civilizations, but to ensure that only those worthy of true power would acquire it. In the days that followed, The galaxy began to change. The remaining devices transformed into beacons of knowledge and power, accessible to all species who chose to work together. The Federation, with humanity as full members, began a new age of exploration and discovery. The Void Collective retreated to the darkness between galaxies, their fear and isolation self-imposed. But they were not pursued. As humanity had learned on their long journey from Earth, true strength lies not in destroying enemies, but in turning them into friends. Admiral Chen stood once again in the observation deck of Titan Base, but this time she watched ships of all species coming and going freely. The secret fleet was secret no more. It had become the foundation of a new galactic defense force, dedicated not to war, but to protection and exploration. "The Council is waiting, Admiral," Rodriguez announced. "They're ready to begin planning the first expedition beyond the galaxy." Chen smiled. Humanity had not only survived the great test, they had helped reshape its very nature. The stars above were no longer distant lights of mystery and danger, but beacons of hope and possibility. "Tell them I'm on my way," she said. "After all, we've got a universe to explore." The galaxy had faced its greatest challenge not through force of arms, but through the very qualities that the Federation had once feared in humanity: adaptability, determination, and the unwavering belief that there was always another way. Earth's children had proven themselves not just survivors, but guardians of tomorrow, ready to face whatever challenges the universe held with wisdom, courage, and hope. As Chen walked to the council chamber, she couldn't help but smile at the irony. The Federation had once restricted humanity to protect the galaxy. Now humanity had saved it by showing them all a better way. The price of pride had been high, but the reward, a united galaxy ready to face the future together, had been worth every sacrifice. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if reflecting the promise of a future where cooperation replaced conflict, where the children of Earth and their alien allies would explore the cosmos not as conquerors or survivors, but as guardians of all that was possible when fear gave way to hope.